This session is going to break down the parent income section of the FAFSA and ORSAA. Now that the student has determined the appropriate parents to list on the FAFSA, we need to provide the parent's financial information. We will also cover how to use the IRS Data Retrieval Tool for FAFSA filers. Welcome. My name is Jason Hibbert. I work in the Financial Aid Office at Eastern Oregon University, and I'm a member of the Oregon Association of Student Financial Aid Administrators, commonly known as OASFA. I'll be your narrator for this FAFSA and ORSAA completion video, Parent Income and the IRS Data Retrieval Tool. This is the 6th video of our 9 core videos. I'm happy to be a part of this project because when students can get their FAFSA or ORSAA done early and accurately, it is a big part of a smooth transition into college life, and they are more successful. The FAFSA and ORSAA both ask for income information from the prior year. This means that the 2020 federal tax return will be used for the 2022-23 aid year. Here are 2 screen snips of the current FAFSA and ORSAA questions regarding parent federal tax information. Both applications ask the same information. Start by indicating if the parent's taxes have been completed for the 2020 calendar year. If the parent was not required to file taxes per IRS guidelines, they are not required to complete taxes for financial aid purposes and will indicate not going to file from the drop-down list. If the parent has already completed or will be completing their 2020 tax return, they report their expected filing status, such as married filing jointly, married filing separately, head of household, single, or qualifying widower. Please note, if you are working with married parents and both file as head of household, the Financial Aid Office will request additional information. Married couples are generally not allowed to both file as head of household. This is a very common tax filing mistake. The Financial Aid Office will contact the family and ask to clarify or correct the tax filing status. Please let the student and family know to be prepared to communicate with the Financial Aid Office. Once the family has entered information about the completion and filing status of the federal tax return, the FAFSA will determine if the parent qualifies to use the IRS Data Retrieval Tool, or DRT. Please note, the ORSAA does not have the DRT feature. If the parent qualifies, a link to the IRS button will appear as shown on this screen, and the parent can click there to start the process of importing their tax information from the IRS. We do not have screenshots shown here of the process, but a couple of things to know. The parent's address must be typed exactly as it appears on the federal income tax return. This means that if the parent wrote out Main Street on the tax return, they cannot use the abbreviation Main ST on the IRS DRT screens. If there is a typo on the tax return, the typo must be replicated on the DRT. The parent must have created an FSA ID in order to use the data retrieval tool, and the FSA ID identifiers must match the parent's Social Security number, name, and date of birth on the FAFSA. It is important that information provided on the FAFSA is as accurate as possible, so if the parent can use the IRS DRT, it is in their best interest to use it. In addition, families who use the IRS DRT are less likely to be selected for a process called verification. Verification requires additional documentation and processing by the Financial Aid Office at each school the student is applying to. Note again that the ORSAA does not have the IRS DRT capabilities, though the state also does not have a separate verification process for ORSAAs. The link to IRS button shown on the previous slide will take the parent to the IRS website where they will use their FSA ID to import their tax information directly from the IRS. There are several reasons a parent would not qualify to use the IRS DRT. For example, if the parent was undocumented or did not have a U.S. Social Security number, if he or she filed a separate return, his or her marital status date is after the end of the tax year, or if the tax return was just recently submitted, that is within the past 6 weeks, the IRS DRT would be unavailable. Additionally, while a parent who filed an amended return could use the IRS DRT, the student's FAFSA would be flagged as potentially containing inaccurate information. The Financial Aid Office at the school would then contact the student to request the 1040X form to assess the accuracy of the information provided. If the parents do not use the DRT and do not have a copy of their tax returns, We recommend that they order tax return transcripts from the IRS as soon as possible in case their FAFSA is selected for verification. This ensures that they have the documentation ready to provide to their financial aid office if needed. If the parents filed jointly, only one copy is needed. Having a transcript on hand is even more critical for parents who did not file taxes. A verification of non-filing letter may be requested by the financial aid office, which has proved troublesome to get from many students' families in the past. The IRS DRT will import the necessary tax information to the FAFSA form, though it will be masked to protect the taxpayer's information. While the financial aid office will receive the correct information, it will not be viewable by the student or parent. If the student is filing an ORSAA, or if a FAFSA parent is not able to use the IRS DRT, the parent can manually enter the information from their tax return. On the FAFSA, there are circled question marks by each question that offer helpful hints and direct line numbers to the tax return to assist in completing this section. The ORSAA displays the help information under each question. Trust me, these hints are very helpful. The parent may be asked a few additional income questions, such as if any grant or scholarship aid was reported in their income to the IRS, or if they rolled over an IRA, which is an important point. If parents rolled over an IRA, it could significantly and negatively affect the student's eligibility for aid if the parents do not properly exclude the amount rolled over when manually entering amounts or after using the DRT. The FAFSA screenshot appears here on the left, with the ORSAA screenshot on the right. This screen continues the supplemental questions regarding additional financial information. Again, the FAFSA is on the left, and the ORSAA form is displayed on the right. Careful reading of each question with diligent referencing of the associated help topics will go a long way toward an accurate EFC being calculated at the end of the application. Finally, the parent will be asked for some specific untaxed income amounts. Pay special attention to the exclusions. They would not want to report amounts that do not belong here, like an amount for code DD on box 12 of the parent's W-2, which is excluded. If they received any child support or any other income from untaxed sources, they will be reported here. This image is from the FAFSA. It breaks these questions up into 3 pages, while the ORSAA uses different groupings on 2 pages.